A common question that I always get at recruitment events for investment banking whenever I go to university is, do I need to learn financial modeling in order to get into investment banking? Now, before I answer this, I want to be completely transparent with you. We do have a financial modeling course where we teach you how to do financial modeling, financial valuation, and pitch books. And we take you step by step throughout the whole process. But the reality is, do you need to know financial modeling in order to get into investment banking? No, you don't. Knowing financial modeling is an amazing advantage that you will have, especially during the interview stages, because your interviews are going to be about technical questions, and the only way you're going to be able to successfully answer these technical questions is by knowing how to do financial modeling. But the reality is, when you start at a bulge bracket bank, you are going to get financial modeling training for free. So you don't need to know financial modeling. So the question then becomes, how much of financial modeling do you need to know in order to pass your interview? And really, you just need to know the basics. You need to know basic accounting, Excel, financial modeling, M&A, and LBO. You just need to know the basics of that. But here's the thing. I've interviewed some candidates who have taken on some of these financial boot camps, financial modeling courses online, and they've paid a lot for them. Some of them are ridiculously expensive, but they still failed their interviews. And that's because just because you know financial modeling, it doesn't mean you know how to answer interview questions, technical questions and behavioral questions. Your interview is going to be split up between technical questions and behavioral questions. If you want to know more about investment banking interview questions and answers, then check out my video where I break down all the questions and answers which you're going to get. Now, make sure you check that out after this video. So what do you need in order to pass your investment banking interview? Well, you need interview answers. And the only way you can get interview answers is by either networking with investment banking analysts and associates that are going to tell you these questions and the answers for them, or you can get an investment banking interview guide, which is going to give you all the questions and answers. Now, if your aim is to learn financial modeling so you can get into investment banking, then learning financial modeling is just going to be an advantage. It's not necessary. What is necessary is learning how to ace your investment banking interviews. Because unless you can ace your interviews, then there's just no point in you learning financial modeling in the first place if it was just going to help you to get into investment banking. So make sure that you learn how to ace your interviews. Get the interview questions and answers beforehand so you can ace your interviews. But if your aim is to learn financial modeling just so that you can break into more than investment banking, if you're trying to get into equity research, hedge fund, asset management, then financial modeling is going to help you because it's going to separate you from the rest of the candidates. A lot of candidates who go into equity research, wealth management, they don't know financial modeling. So that will make you stand out. Now, even though I said you don't need to learn financial modeling to get into investment banking, I was referring to bulge bracket banks. So banks that have the capacity and the infrastructure to train you on financial modeling after you start. But what if you want to apply to middle market banks or boutique banks? Now, for those cases, you are going to have to learn financial modeling because one of the prerequisite requirements before you can even start as an analyst is for you to pass a financial modeling test. When you're going to go and apply for an investment banking analyst position at a boutique bank, they're going to give you a test, a financial modeling test, which you're going to have to pass before you can start there. And the only way you're going to pass that is if you know financial modeling. Now, I also need to add another point here. Some bulge bracket banks offer off-cycle internships, and what an off-cycle internship is, it's an internship which is term time. So traditionally, investment banks will offer internships during the summer and you will have some kind of training when you start. But off-cycle internships, you're not going to get training necessarily, so learning financial modeling will help you to get an advantage for these off-cycle internships. And you'll find some of these off-cycle internships at bulge bracket banks, middle market banks as well. So if you want to maximize your chances at getting into investment banking, then learning financial modeling is a great method of doing that. But do not ignore the interview answers. The course that we have gives you both financial modeling and interview answers, as well as teaching you how to build pitch books. And we take you through the whole entire process step by step via our virtual work experience program, where we teach you how to master Excel, accounting, financial modeling, and then build a pitch book. So I hope I've clarified your question on do you need to learn financial modeling before you go into investment banking. In short, for bulge bracket roles, no you don't. For middle market banks, boutique banks, yes you do. And it will make you stand out. But what is necessary are knowing how to answer interview questions, because even though you know financial modeling, doesn't mean you know how to answer interview questions. And plus, if you say that you know how to do financial modeling, then expect to get harder questions on the topic. So it's a double-edged sword. If you are going to say that you've done financial modeling, you've enrolled on this really expensive bootcamp, then expect the interviewer, even I've done this, to give you, the candidate, even tougher questions. Okay, so if you have any other questions on investment banking recruitment, then always leave it down in the comment section below. And take a look at our financial modeling course. You can also get the interview guides for free. And if you want to know the kind of questions that you're going to get during your interviews as an analyst, associate, and intern, then I'll leave a link in the description below.